young black woman is dead after repeatedly pleading for help while in jail. 23-year-old Tanisha Chappell was taken from the Jackson County, Indiana jail to a hospital on Friday, July 16th, where she died later that day. Ms. Chappell's family is represented by Ben Crump, Sam Aguirre, and Lanita Baker, the same group of attorneys who represented Breonna Taylor's family. Lanita Baker joins us tonight to talk about the latest in this case. Great to have you back on, Lanita.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with a statement issued a few days ago by one of your co-counsels, Ben Crump. It reads, her family wasn't called for more than 3 hours after she died, and now the sheriff's department refused to tell the full truth about what happened. They won't explain why Tanisha's face was swollen and beaten. It makes me think of Sandra Bland. They won't explain why they ignored Tanisha's medical needs during the 24 hours leading up to her death, despite her constant vomiting and rising fever. They won't explain what video footage shows, even though the facility has new state-of-the-art cameras. What happened to Tanisha Chappell? Lanita, there's so many unanswered questions about what happened to Tanisha. What do you and the family know tonight?
Yeah, what we do know is that the Jackson County Jail has a history of disregarding prisoners' medical needs, not taking them to a hospital when it's necessary. As we do know, Tanisha had been sick for almost 24 hours, and other inmates describe her as screaming, calling for help, not being able to walk, saying that guards had to actually carry her to another cell, and the guards just kept saying, oh, she's faking, she's faking. All the while she's got a rise in temperature and she's vomiting, and again having pain in her joints such that she could not walk.
Woo! That is harrowing to hear right there, folks. We are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. I am Scott Cannon. Over there is Reverend Delwyn Campbell.
Hey.
Give us a call, 219-8513. 71. The number again, 219-8513-71. And we're talking about this case of Tanisha. This thing is just going. This thing has a mind of its own. She's just this case is really harrowing. This woman, 23 years old, arrested on May 26th in southern Indiana, in Jackson. A statement from the Indiana State Police says that she was taken by ambulance to the hospital in Seymour on July 16th. So she had been in jail for, I guess, about 2 months, and she ended up dying at the hospital later on. Authorities are still investigating, while her family is demanding answers. Her mother, Levita McCain, said that her daughter was in good health when they spoke a day before her death, but she said that her daughter was having problems with other inmates. She said that she called numerous times over and over saying that they are going to kill me, get me out of here. Her father, Dante Chappell, said that he believes that it is some sort of foul play because she was the only black woman at the jail. Now, for some context, this is just for context. I'm not smearing the victim or smearing anybody, the deceased or anything, but I have to provide context here. The Indiana State Police originally responded to a call regarding a theft of numerous items at the Polo Ralph Lauren store on May 26th. At approximately 1 p.m. local time, according to the Indiana State Police report, they located the suspect, Tanisha Chappell, traveling southbound on I-65 in Jackson County in a white Chevy Impala. He conducted a traffic stop just north, but Miss Chappell fled from the officer, allegedly. The report said that she was pursued southbound through Jackson, Scott, and Clark counties with speeds reportedly reaching 100 miles per hour. Eventually, her car careened off the road. This 23-year-old then attempted to flee on foot, but was soon taken into custody. Numerous stolen items valued at $3,000 were located in the vehicle, according to the police report. So Ms. Chappell was incarcerated at the Jackson County Jail on numerous felony and misdemeanor charges. Now, I want to read the statement just to provide more context. Her family lawyers issued a joint statement saying Tanisha, a 23-year-old mother of one, died on July 16th while in the custody of the Jackson County, Indiana Sheriff's Department. Her family wasn't called for more than 3 hours after she died. And now the Sheriff's Department refuses to tell the truth about what happened to her. The lawyer said they won't explain why Tanisha's face was swollen and beaten. They won't explain why they ignored Tanisha's medical needs during the 24 hours leading up to her death, despite her constant vomiting and rising fever. They won't explain what video footage shows, even though the facility has new state-of-the-art cameras. Now, Rev, I looked into Jackson County, which is in southern Indiana. I'd never heard of it. That's how far south it is. You know, we're at the north. We're at the north of Indiana,
Right.
all on the Chicagoland border. It's in southern Indiana, which, as we talked about in the last segment, is basically Alabama. Okay.
Okay.
This county is 0.7% African American. 0.7. Like, that means there's like one black person. There's like one black dude who I guess lives in an apartment somewhere in Jackson County, and everybody else is white.
Uh-huh.
So, looking at this case, I have to reiterate to a lot of people, and I'm not saying that, you know, do crime in multicultural areas, okay? But Jesus, if you're gonna get into some crap, please do not do it.
Don't do it there.
Don't do it when you are in a place like Jackson County, Indiana, where there's not even one black person for every 100 white people, where you'd be the only black person in a jail. Think twice about this. Jesus. Rev, what did you think about this story when you heard it?
Well, first I saw the video that you played.
Yeah.
So then I looked up the name. I just wanted to know why was she in jail, and then
Right.
I read the thing that you brought up about the stolen goods.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point I said, well, two things here. One, whatever she did to be incarcerated, once she was under arrest, she was their responsibility. Their job was supposed to be to hold her so that she could get booked, so that she could get arraigned, so that she could face her accuser, so that she could be tried and either convicted or exonerated. That's the job of the jailers.
Right.
They failed.
Yeah.
Now, the article that I read did say that she went to the hospital. When they arrested her, she had some pains to her back or something like that, and she was taken to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, she was released back into the custody of
Right.
the sheriffs. And
2 months ago, I mean, in May, when she was arrested.
Yeah, and then she went to jail, and then a day later she's dead, or a couple of days later she's dead. So I don't know. We don't know. The true statement that those attorneys made is they don't know.
Right.
Now, yes, the way they phrased it, it's they don't know, and if they did know, it would be something terrible. That, you know, if only we knew. We know how terrible it was. But it is true. We don't know. You know, originally, when people would say, well, you know, we need to hear the rest of the facts, that sounds so like trying to avoid the obvious. But sometimes, you know, what if it wasn't the sheriffs that injured her? What if it was another inmate?
Well, that's
We
what
don't
she said.
know.
Well, that's what she said. She said that the other inmates were going to kill her. That's what she told her mother.
Yeah, we don't know.
So, I mean, that's again, not saying do crime in Gary. Okay, Lord knows we don't need more crime in Gary. And rest in peace to the guy who got shot at the gas station.
We'll say this: don't
this
do
week.
crime.
Yeah, crime.
And if you insist on doing it, don't be surprised if when you do it in a place like that, you know, it's not filled with your family and friends.
Right. Oof, man. What I mean, now this may be irrelevant to the actual case itself, but one thing that really broke my heart about this particular story, I looked at it and I read the story multiple times, and I thought this can't be correct. She's 23 years old, and she has a 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, oh my God, like somebody hurt that child. Okay, somebody abused, because there's no such thing as a 12-year-old. I'm guessing if she got pregnant at 12, there's no such thing as consensual sex for a 12-year-old
Right.
and a 13-year-old. And so this child was she was abused as a child. She grew up into a woman, and in all these cases, society has failed this woman along the way. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the police element of this story, but unfortunately, there's a lot of Tanisha Chappells running around our society who even if they don't ever get arrested and go to jail, and in a 1% black or less than 1% town, you know, mother girls who are mothers at 13 and 14 years old, who are starting life at a really who are starting life behind the eight ball, who are really going to have a very difficult time, and we are not doing as much as we can to protect our young girls in these types of situations. I absolutely hate that somebody didn't protect her when she was 12 or 13 years old from getting pregnant, and I really hate that whoever her family. I was kind of surprised to see her father interviewed in the post. I'm going to be honest with you here. It's so, I mean, we as a society really have to start looking at, particularly in our community, the black community, a lot of the people, the young people that we are ending up with facing these horrific situations, because before she ever got arrested, she was gonna have a difficult time.
Yeah.
She was gonna have a difficult, hard life before, if she did the stuff that they say she did in terms of stealing $3,000 worth of stuff from the Ralph Polo store. I mean, that's unfortunate. It doesn't mean that she deserves to die or be abused while she's incarcerated. Like you said at the very top of this segment, they had a job to make sure that she met her, whatever justice was meted out to get her there to that point, and they failed before that she could actually get whatever justice was supposed to have coming to her if she indeed did that, or have her day in court. She's supposed to be able to at least have her day in court, be sentenced if that's what was going to happen, and then you know uh, be incarcerated or whatever. Another thing that was really sad about this story was the cash bail situation.
Hmm.
Her family was trying to get bail for Miss Chappell and could not get the $4,000 in bail that she needed to get out of jail. Only $4,000. $4,000 seems like a lot, and it is a lot until the person that you love is dead, and you know that all it took was $4,000 for them to essentially be alive right now.
Yeah.
And so this story is just heartbreaking all around. We will definitely keep up with this story. I guarantee this is not the last you're going to hear about this story, not just from us, but around the country,
Yeah.
because in this heightened state that we're in with police misconduct and the conduct of the legal system, and surrounding black people and black women especially, you definitely gonna hear about this again.
Yeah. It's I read in one of the articles where the mom is really torn up, because she feels like, she should have raised the money.
Yeah.
And my hunch is, if the rest of the backstory is correct, probably her first thought when she heard her daughter had been arrested was rather dismissive. You know, I remember once when I was young, I dated a lady who was the to use that old phrase, the black sheep of the family,
Mm.
always in trouble, but she was cute. She was always in trouble, and so when she got in trouble, no one really got excited about it. That's what they were used to. And of course the prosecution, or rather, well, the attorneys for the county, as well as the sheriff's department, they're going to look for all that stuff, and then people on the other side are going to say you're blaming the victim. um, but on some level, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that when this first shook out and she heard her daughter was locked up, that it wasn't her first impulse to stop everything and let me get my baby out of jail. It was, well, probably something more like, well, maybe, if she spends about a day or so in there, she'll start thinking about things, and we've got time. We'll see her,
Right.
after she gets bailed out, you know, and now she can't get that decision back.
No.
I think that's why she feels so guilty, because there probably was that moment when she could have done something, but she didn't see a reason to, a need to.
Right. And I question keeping somebody in jail who's only accused of some. I don't want to say petty larceny, but it ain't like she didn't steal the Lindbergh baby.
Now the bail was 4,000,
Yeah.
so that means actually she only had to, because bond is 10% of that. So all she had to do was get bond 400.
Really.
Yeah.
See, I've never been arrested. I've never been arrested, folks.
Yeah. So it wasn't even that high a bail amount.
Right.
Wow.
I know, and she's not here anymore. And her sister said that the day before she was, you know, running the phones trying to get the money. I guess whatever money it take, and couldn't get the money, and then this happens. Like I said, we really, not just the legal system, but community wise, we really have to start looking at how we're failing these young people.
But I mean, like for example, they talk about the situation with bail. Well, why does bail exist? I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking about the deep of the history and all that, but I mean,
Yeah.
just basically, bail exists because they argue, the prosecution argues that if we just release you on your own recognizance, you might not show up for your day in court.
Right.
So this is to make sure that you show up.
Right, and I know a lot of people's families have to put their houses up or something as collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's time for us to go to a break. Okay, folks, we'll be right back after this to mop things up. This is the last break here on Listening to Scott and the Rev on WLTH 1370 AM. Give us a call, 219-885-1371.